Howdy, and welcome to the fundraising video for Adaptive Movement Parkour. AMP is an interesting community of human beings that really just like moving our bodies. We've got parkour, martial arts, free running, aerial silks, massage, and so much more. We hope that eventually you guys will come down and join this family, but until you do, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the place. AMP 1.0 started with a field trip. A bunch of us went down to Washington, D.C. to train with the guys at American Parkour. Came back, built a bunch of obstacles, and we kind of went from there. It became a small part of the gym called Modern Self-Defense Center run by Chris Drexler Martel. When I asked him, hey, can we do a parkour gym here? He basically said, why not? We're doing all sorts of other crazy stuff. We started with a couple boxes, a couple vaults, rock climbing wall, and a set of bars with some precisions. Kind of just figured it out from there. AMP 2.0 moved downstairs in the same dingy factory that we started in with AMP 1.0. It became a part of CrossFit Religion, where we had our own dedicated space, about 1,000 square feet at that point, some more boxes, some more bars, and even rubber flooring, which is actually a huge improvement for us. During the time of AMP 2.0, a couple of our training partners also took over the Modern Self-Defense Center and opened it again in Meriden. However, we realized very quickly that having two different spaces wasn't sustainable, and so we actually combined efforts and brought them back together in AMP 3.0, which was in West Hartford. This was a huge jump for us because we had about 4,500 dedicated square feet, a martial arts side, a parkour side, foam pit, spring floor, and so much more. We really leveled up at AMP 3.0. However, we were never able to actually officially open. Due to problems with the landlord, we actually ended up being built out for 18 months and eventually had to leave the space before actually being able to run full classes.
Coach Mike, Coach Kevin and I came to the very first class and we were both hooked. We've both been here, I don't know what it is now, 12 years, and I think it instantly, Scott made a community. It wasn't just, oh, we're all going to try these crazy things. It was, no, like, we're a team now and we're a group. And after about 1.5 to 2 years, he asked me to start help teaching. I would just pull people aside and be like, hey, try this thing, try this thing. And I, just as much as parkour, fell in love with teaching. I love the challenge of a new person figuring out what it is I need to say to get them to try this new thing. I grew up playing everything. I played basketball, soccer, baseball. Team sports wasn't as fun for me as having a single challenge for myself, and I think that's more of what parkour is. It's challenging yourself instead of challenging a team. When Scott pulled the curtain back and wanted me to start teaching, it became way less about physically being able to do something and encourage someone to mentally be okay with trying something. And I think that's kind of where our relationship is now. Like, we're still pushing each other to try more things. Even as people in this business, like, how can we push each other to try to do more within the business? And that's how adding Nerf, adding birthday parties, it wasn't just like, hey, what else can we try? It's, we should try this, like that kind of push each other attitude. And I really like that about both of us. And I think we are pushing each other towards each other's tendencies, seeing it in each other. We're all growing together instead of we'll all do it the same way. And I think that's what makes people want to come more often, is because a lot of people might like Scott's style of teaching, so they'll stay to his classes. Some people like my style of teaching, or even Kevin's style of teaching, and so they stick to those classes. But a lot of people also like the variety, where some nights is play nights and some nights is hard work nights.
Hi everybody, my name is Devin. I've been a part of AMP for the last 10 years and I've been coaching here for the last 6. These are all my little monsters. One thing that I personally love about AMP is it's such a tight-knit community, it's a family. We go on trips together, we get food together, we share a lot of the same ambition, love, passion, pain, quite literally, sometimes like ripping calluses. Scott has actually been a super helpful mentor throughout my whole life. He taught me how to drive, taught me how to cook, taught me how to coach and be personable to all these lovely people. I honestly don't know what I would have done without parkour. I was not a team player. I didn't get along well in sports. But parkour has really pushed me to be the best version of myself. So since I started parkour, all my grades went up. I got honor society in community college because I figure if I can learn to do a backflip, I might as well get a good grade on a test. Scott taught me all of Algebra 2 in a single night before an exam. And brain fart.
I started training when I was about 17 years old. What got me into training, oddly enough, probably like most people, is Assassin's Creed, the video game. I saw the climbing on the buildings and stuff like that. And I thought it was really cool, and so I looked it up, and then I found like a bunch of parkour videos, and this was like 2009, so like the internet was blooming on YouTube. I knew that was the one thing that I wanted to do. I was always into like, you know, combat sports or just like skateboarding, like extreme sports. And parkour was like the thing that I felt more connected to. It was like a different form of freedom that I can express, and there wasn't really no limitations like any other sport that I really played. It was like something that no matter what I did, I felt like I was like the best person I can be, and I didn't realize the best person I can actually be until I actually came to AMP. You know, the people here are just amazing, and without them, I don't know where my life would have been. I don't know how I would have actually like turned out, because these guys, they gave me a life, they gave me a purpose. And like when you're a young adult, you don't know what your purpose is. And you know, it's one of those things when, you know, you grow up in like a really bad town, in a really bad neighborhood, and then you move to a different state, and then you go to another bad town in another bad neighborhood. You don't really fit in with people, and you don't want to do the shenanigans that other people do, and you just feel like an outcast. And you feel like you don't have a purpose. And this place gave me that. They gave me, you know, Scott, the owner, when I didn't have any place to stay or to live. He was like, we're family, you know, stay with me. He gave me a place to stay. He helped me put food in my mouth. He was family to me, and that's what everybody here at this gym is. We're all family, whether, you know, you've been here for 10 years, whether you've been here for a year, whether it's your first day. We treat you guys like family, and they treat us like family. They treat everybody like family, no matter who you are. And that's one of the things that made me really fall in love with AMP and want to stay here, and not only stay here, but, you know, teach. And teaching was one of the things I never thought I would do, because I was always an antisocial person. Like I could, you know, be in a crowd and like, you know, get people to laugh, but I never thought I would actually teach, you know, young kids and be a role model. Like those words never, like I thought I would never say those words of like me being a role model, but to a lot of these kids I am. And it's, you know, it's amazing. And it's something that I love and I deeply care about from the bottom of my heart. And no matter what, like the experience here and the things I'm able to do change people's lives, and just like how my life was changed. And able to help people, whether it's a small issue, whether it's a big issue, whether it's, you know, help with them through a tough time and getting them to do cool stuff to get, you know, have them blow steam, or to help them, you know, get better at a skill, or help them through, you know, something deeper issue, whether it's like emotionally or physically, you know, getting people stronger mentally and physically. That's what I learned that I'm really good at, and AMP was the only place that allowed me to find my passion and find the thing that I love doing.
After a couple of failed attempts to find a new home for Adaptive Movement Parkour, we eventually landed in New Britain, Connecticut, in a 13,000 square foot facility which allows us to do pretty much anything we could possibly want. We've got room for parkour, a dedicated bar cage, a maze with precisions. We've got a foam pit, spring floor, martial arts room, yoga room. We've got literally room for everything we could want. We really love this space. The unfortunate part is, since it's 13,000 square feet, the rent is obviously astronomical. We had finally made it into the black in 2019 when a little thing called COVID-19 reared its ugly head. We were forced to shut down for months. Then, once we reopened, obviously people did not want to join back in with a large group of people jumping and climbing on things, and so it's been a slow climb back to where we are now, which is just shy of making our rent and making our bills every month. We really love this place, and we really want it to continue thriving. We have such amazing individuals that come here, from the coaches, the students, and everyone else. With how amazing this space is, we're really hoping that you guys can help us continue training here and keeping this community flourishing. Unfortunately, it has come to the point where our landlord is no longer able to float our back rent, and he's asked us to pay back the majority of our back rent here by the end of the year. So really, what this group is a bunch of highly athletic nerds, all getting together to jump and climb on things. It's funny because a large percentage of both our student body and our staff are on either the ADHD or autism spectrum. And this place becomes their home that they get to interact with people who are similar to them. Okay, that gives them something they really don't get anywhere else in this world. And I think that's special in and of itself. Unlike some places which really focus on building up Olympic athletes or this and that, really AMP allows people to pursue their own goals. So we've had professional athletes that we've trained out of here. We've had both pro MMA fighters and national champions in the parkour and freerunning community. In addition to these professional athletes and all these other impressive things, we've got people that just started out as shy individuals and eventually became incredible leaders within their community. Whether they're coaches or running events or whatever it is, they found a space both here, which allowed them to find space outside of AMP, really showing their self-confidence and their leadership skills. The thing that I'm most proud of in terms of what we do here is that whether somebody shows up for a day, a month, or a decade, like many of our people have, everyone has an experience that they take with them. And if you've heard the phrase, people forget what you teach them, but remember how you make them feel, I think that encapsulates what AMP does best. We make people feel welcome, we make them feel empowered, and we make them feel powerful. Unfortunately, one of the things I'm notoriously bad at is asking for help. I'm still working on it. But right now, we need your help. We need everyone who's willing to and able to donate money so that we can pay back our back rent and keep this community flourishing. I really hope that you guys are willing to help us out, because this place is special to me and it's special to the hundreds of students, coaches, and athletes that call it home. I honestly don't even know what I'd be doing with my life if it weren't here helping my friends and the people that have become family at Adaptive Movement Parkour.